everybody. Welcome to August 2023. And I'm Vicki Stevenson with HF Homes EXP Realty. And I thought I'd talk a little bit about what's going on in the Homewood and Flossmoor market right now. You're going to look at something called InfoSparks, which is something provided within our MLS system. If you have questions, if you want screenshots, just let me know. But here we are, and we've got kind of our basic information here. This is the sales price, so average and median sales price in Homewood and Flossmoor. And right now we're looking at 10 years. So you can see we're still way up compared to where we were. I'm going to bring this down just to the last 3 years so we get a sense of what's going on. In the last 3 years, as everybody knows, we've had a huge jump in prices here, both Homewood and Flossmoor on basically the same trajectory. And then in May of this year is when we started to see a little bit of a correction. Is this a crash? No, it's not a crash. This is a little bit of a correction. You can see we're still way above where we used to be. So we do have a little bit of a lower price point than we were just, in a month ago, down just a little bit. Nothing I don't think to worry about. Let's look at some other interesting information. So one thing I'm going to look at is the month supply. So what does month supply means? It means how many houses are on the market that are available for people to buy. And this is what's fascinating as a trend. So you can see that in January 2020, we had much higher inventory. A lot of inventory sitting out there. High inventory means longer to sell and lower price point generally. And then here we go. We're in the pandemic. We're in the height of it. We're in the craziness of it. And we got all the way down to just basically a month worth of inventory to sell, which is a very low inventory, which is why things are going multiple offers, way over asking price in some cases. It was, pretty easy to sell a house at this point. We're trending a little bit upwards, which is exactly what we'd expect to find. This is the anomaly. This is not an anomaly. So this is kind of a return to somewhat normalcy. And I'm going to draw this back and get 10 years so we can see that we're still historically very low inventory still. Home and Flossmoor follow almost the exact same path. We have a little bit of a difference in Homewood and Flossmoor, and we're going to get to that, especially when it comes to price per square foot and like that. So original list to close, this is like what we originally list a house at and what percentage of that is closed. So back in 2013, it was typical for people to get 85% of asking, of their original ask price. And then in the height of the pandemic, people were getting well over asking. And this is an average. So some are going for a lot more than that. And now we are coming back down to what we can see a more normal range. So people are not necessarily getting their original price that they wanted. So percent of last list too, and this is where it comes down. Last list, these numbers are a little bit higher, and that's because people have had a price adjustment at some point during there. So they're a little bit closer to what they closed for, but they're still not necessarily closing at or above asking anymore. So if you're a seller, you should kind of adjust your expectations a little bit with that. Price per square foot, let's look at that. This is where things I think are really interesting between Homewood and Flossmoor. As you can see, the price per square foot and the price overall in Flossmoor tends to be higher, but the price per square foot tends to be higher in Homewood. Why is this? A couple of reasons. One, we generally have somewhat larger homes in Flossmoor, so the larger the home, kind of the lower the price per square foot, because it just doesn't comp out at still charging 147, 150 dollars per square foot when you're looking at over 5,000 square feet. Also, I think one of the things that is a factor here is that Homewood tends to have a little bit of a lower price point and tends to have lower taxes. So people can afford to pay a little bit more per square foot in Homewood than they do in Flossmoor. But the trends are always the same in our little communities. Love that. And listing to contract time. Again, this is the time, the days of how how many days between listing it and getting a contract on it. So, we go back 10 years and, it was typical to take months and months for something to get under contract. And then we go down to the pandemic and, you're getting a contract within weeks, if not days. Um, and the median, like, let's see, the median changes a little bit. So yeah, the median back then was 9 and 7 days. So to get a contract. Now we're back up to it being a matter of weeks and in some case months, depending on the house. And I think what's important to note here is that buyers are still buying. There's still very low inventory, but they're not in the craze that the low interest rates and the complete lack of inventory and the speed of which everything was moving, we're not there anymore. So buyers have to be prepared that we still have high prices, and sellers need to be prepared that you may not get the multiple offers, the over asking, the even at asking prices. Seller buyers are being a little bit more conservative. So that is your August 1st update for the HF market.